This video will contain spoilers for the Ranger Reject or Go-Go Loser Ranger manga up until the current arc. If you aren't caught up, beware, you may be spoiled, so go read and come back. There are many mysteries and lies told in the world of Ranger Reject that Negiharabas carefully crafted, but one lie told very early on to the readers is when the Dragon Keepers tell the foot soldiers that all of their bosses have been killed. For what reason? You could say it was to keep the Dusters in line and doing what they wanted each week so that they could benefit from the Sunday battles. This lie also helps keep the public at ease. And there could be more reasons, like not wanting to admit to their failure and things like that, but in the first major arc after the introduction, we find out that one of the executives still breathes. And with this very existence, it's very possible that others survived as well. In this video, I'll be talking about all of the known executive or boss monsters in Go-Go Loser Ranger story. If you're new here, please hit the like and subscribe. Thank you. Now that the truth has gotten out, let's talk about the executives. First off, they're the big boss, obviously, but what does that mean? The executives created the foot soldiers, and the reason was to be their front line in the battle against the Dragon Keepers. The interesting thing is that they seem to have different abilities from your average duster. Foot soldiers are immortal and can reshape and transform their bodies at will as long as they have enough matter to make the shape and knowledge of what they want to change into, but executives seem to have some limitations. When executives take massive damage, they don't look like they're able to heal it off immediately just by regenerating their bodies the same way the foot soldiers do, and honestly, with my memory, it could just be that all the times I'm thinking of are due to dragon tool damage, which hurts a lot more and leaves permanent injuries, but executives also go through the work of wearing skin suits. Not all of them have been shown to do this, but several of the executives have taken people's dead bodies and made suits out of them. It's unknown if all of them have done this, but they seem capable, and a few times we have seen executive vessels who have visible scars on their faces or body parts. But there are also other situations where it appears that no scar or damage is done and it doesn't require a dead body. The executives are all also given a code name based on the Chinese zodiac and the animal they represent, and if you want to go deeper, the Ranger Reject Discord channel has been going crazy lately with finding things like links and references to their names being very close to character names tied to religion. If you're into that type of thing, definitely go check out the Ranger Discord. Everyone there is great and friendly. To start things off, I'll of course begin with Peltola. He is the first executive we see, and his initial appearance is shown through Hibiki's flashback. He wears a long white robe that stretches from the bottom of his head to covering his feet, and he has 4 massive angel wings that he drapes over his body. His face sort of resembles a tree, and his features look almost like crystals, with his mouth sharing the same connected diamond pattern to X's hair going around his entire head, and the top of his head almost sort of looks like roots of a tree. Like if he were to flip upside down, he'd look exactly like a tree. Peltola is one of the executives with multiple forms actually, and this is only his first. We don't know the full process, but it would appear that he can either become a tree or fuse himself into a tree and then create large pods that grow from it, which can then open to reveal what seems to be his true form. In this form, Peltola takes on the head of a rooster and loses the long robe, and more of his body is exposed and can be seen down from his head down to his boots. He doesn't have arms in this form, and it's the form we see him engage in combat seriously. He also has a tiny bird form that's just a head with wings that he uses when he tries to escape or when weakened, and this is also the form he takes when fused into a tree. Peltola sees himself as a god, someone above everyone else, and sees his way of killing as a form of saving lives of the poor misguided humans. He is very powerful and capable of killing many people in the blink of an eye with a charged up laser beam ability, and he can clone himself seemingly an infinite number of times. As long as a single Peltola clone lives, he can survive anything, and it's later revealed that he can absorb the power of weapons he eats. Later on in the manga, the Rangers are talking about him, and Greenkeeper says he's heard Peltola was shooting lasers and says he had never heard of Peltola having a beam-like ability, so maybe early on during the war he used minor abilities or just stood behind the foot soldiers, but at some point around 10 or so years ago when Hibiki's past takes place, he had this laser ability. It's later on in the current timeline that he is also eating the cloning technology so that he can clone himself, but what was his original ability? Maybe it was just eating things, but now that he does have the beam ability, we see he's fully capable of brutally killing people effortlessly. Like I said, he is a godly presence, and other invaders like X's worship him and bow down to him, and when he kills, he says it's to help others find salvation. He pities people like Izome who fight so hard to uphold the lie and keep the secrets that she likely doesn't know, and when he tries to kill her, he says it's to preserve her youthful appearance. Peltola, while very powerful, is evil. Not all invaders are always purely evil, but Peltola never has a moment where you could think, okay, maybe he's not this way all the time. While being powerful, Peltola is also not so prideful that he refuses to run. Peltola pretends to care about the foot soldiers, even giving X's a name, but when given a chance, he left D and X's to die die while he escaped. We've seen him blast multiple people to death in a church, and he killed several in Balong's nest. He attempted to kill more, but was pushed back and managed to escape, but not before firing off a cheap shot, dealing the final blow to Blue Dragon Keeper while he fought D. Not much else has happened for Peltola since the Balong exam arc. He was present in the most recent large-scale arc and was shown to have linked up with the other executives as they moved forward with their plan to revive the Death Messiah, and a couple other members of Red Battalion approached him and it looked like they were ready to fight, but we don't know what the result of that fight is. Next up is the executive Matia. Matia the snake, similar to Peltola, has the head of a snake with bone-like armor or plating on one side of his face, while the other side has exposed flesh, and his eye on the flesh side is large and bulging out of his head. We can't tell if he has his other eye from looking at him, but I think he does because he comments on Green Keeper at some point while looking at him from that direction. These days he wears normal clothes. In his introductory arc though, he's shown rocking a tracksuit, but in the past he wore more regal clothing, something befitting of a monster that thought he was of much higher status than others, and Matia is one that I really find interesting. Matia is the only executive we see in a flashback facing off against multiple rangers. In their previous battle all those years ago, he had lured the Dragon Keepers onto a cruise ship filled with civilians and had foot soldiers distract them while bombs were placed around it. Matia outright tells a foot soldier that their only purpose is to stall and that they should be happy to be given a role in this battle, as he commands a single soldier to blow up the ship with the rangers and other dusters on board. In the current time, Matia says that he's given up on world domination and is settling for his current interest, which is spiriting away children with his powers and creating grand illusions. He created another dimension and kidnaps kids from the real world and has them attend school in this alternate world. With the help of a former soldier and ranger, they managed to keep this going for a while. Matia used the body of a young boy as a vessel in his dream school, and his powers will force the school days to reset over and over anytime anyone was called out for breaking the rules. Eventually, the people trapped in the school would lose their sense of self and become one with the illusion Matia created. Everything went fine for him until these disappearing acts caught the eye of Green Battalion, which led to the unthinkable. A mere foot soldier who Matia would once call useless would come to unravel his illusion and be the cause of his downfall. During one of his interruptions, he asked that people please stop disturbing the peace at his school, and Chidori meets with him before their final battle. He tells Green his people need help, to which Chidori responds he'd only be getting in the way, and Matia should stop hiding and come outside because everyone's waiting for him. It's unclear what Magatia's true end goal would have been if he was able to keep bringing kids into his illusionary school, but his crimes in the past were unforgivable. Killing many members of Green Battalion put him into their crosshairs. After Green arrives within a deeper layer of his ability, where everyone else is being dealt with, Chidori reminds Matia of a deal he made with him in the past, where he says if you keep to yourself and stay hidden, I can care less what you do, but if you continue being evil involving citizens, you'll have to pay for it. Matia responds that what he's doing is for the charity to benefit the humans he brought in. He wishes for a world without conflict, and that's what he's created by bringing in kids who have had their lives altered by the Rangers and the Invader War. This place would be a paradise for them if the Rangers hadn't interfered. Like I said, it's not really clear if everything he was saying was BS. He did manage to convince some strong allies that he wanted to create a world without pain, but kidnapping children was not okay, and many people died, so Matia was eliminated. Later on in the three-way battle arc, Matia is revived through a syringe of his DNA being injected into another character, and his personality and abilities were able to temporarily take over in full power. Remembering D from before and wanting to kill him specifically, Matia this time created an obstacle course for the Rangers to complete that would kill them if they didn't succeed. His consciousness is suppressed when the character who injects him was reminded of a lover and knocked out, and we don't know if they can tap into Magatia's powers. Next up is Walipon, who so far is my personal favorite executive. He is the horse executive, and in his true form that we don't get to see for long, he doesn't appear to have horse-like features unless you count his tiny horse-like ears and hair. Walipon's true form looks like a little Dorito with legs and concave eyes that have lines that go out from his pupils. The appearance that we see the most of him, however, has Walipon using a human's body, but with the head covered with a paper bag that has X's cut out for the eye holes and a slit for the nose and mouth. His signature Dorito point also sticks out from the top of his bag, and he wears normal clothes. Walipon was a very powerful enemy to the Rangers because of his ability to use social media effectively and backing up the Invader Rights Association, who believed the Rangers were wrong for killing them and seeked justice for invaders. With this platform, he was able to manipulate the public opinion of the Rangers, and when he created new monsters that terrorized the city, he offered to end the attacks if the Rangers backed down and disbanded. Walipon seems weak at first, but he uses piano wire to quickly slice apart his foes and can convert humans into his own minions after decapitating them. He was able to pretty much make clones of himself using the bodies of other dead humans to lead people on a bit of a goose chase when trying to find the real one. And overall, watching Walipon act out was a blast. It was like watching the Joker in manga, the way he would dance and joke around making fun of death and destruction while doing things like live streaming a moment where Red Keeper snapped and ripped off Yakushi's hand. Wally Pond thought little of humans, but in times he did find them interesting, to the point where he was willing to stop fighting after seeing Hibiki put his life in danger, just for the chance of his sister healing Hikaru. In the end though, Wally Pond met his defeat. After pretty much beating the Pink Keeper, he was reduced to his Dorito form and crushed to death by Shippo when he thought he might get another body to use. And DGA The Tiger is an executive that we never got to see in its full glory, but we saw them through flashbacks. They are another executive that we got to see using humans as a disguise, and in Blue Keeper's flashback, DGA pretended to be a man named Kamiya, the guy providing Shogo and his gang with intel on dirty jobs that they can do, like hitting up weapon trucks and things like that so that they can make some money. After the job, we see in a flashback DGA set up all of Shogo's gangs, telling them that they had alibis covered but had them framed for several other serious crimes, and when Shogo confronted him about it, he revealed himself, pretty much showing that it was all just a little experiment or a way to pass time and understand humans a bit more. DGA is the tiger executive, but he doesn't really have any tiger-like features unless you count the tail and the stripes on his legs, as well as the horns or ears that kind of look cat-like. I'll call them ears. He has very large claws and tentacles that sprout out from his back in the shape of a flower. DGA was a very tough opponent to deal with because of their ability, which caused any attacks focused on them to be reflected back at the user. The former Blue Keeper and the new Blue Keeper figured out a way around this ability, which would see one person attacking another, and if DGA just happened to be in the way, or if the intended target dodged and DGA was there to receive the blow, they would suffer from it. In the three-way battle arc, Ukyo injected the DGA serum, but didn't use the second syringe to transform fully and was killed by Yellow Keeper. Toto Mask hasn't had an animal nickname confirmed in story yet, but they appear to be the boar. The only time we saw it was in the three-way battle arc when Inko injected the Toto Mask serum and she became him. Very little was known besides one event where Inko felt like she couldn't fit in with people and Toto Mask went on a rampage and destroyed everything around her, giving her a fresh start and new look on life, and Green Keeper remembers defeating it in the past. Toto Mask is a large black-haired boar with massive tusks that look armored and looks like the rest of his body is covered in stone in places that isn't covered with hair. He grew to a massive size to stomp Chidori, but was quickly defeated when Chidori grew in size himself and flattened Toto Mask with his dragon tool. Next up is the Fusion, who we don't have a singular name for, but they are Chocobo the monkey and, probably gonna butcher this name, but Yakeikokab the rabbit fused together. One thing of note, during Yakushi's flashback in the manga, originally the executive shown was named Yakeikokab the rabbit, but Negi later corrected it to say that this executive was in fact Chocobo, so we don't know what exactly Yakeikokab looks like yet, but their fusion is very cool. This executive is probably my second favorite, not only because of their design, which features the appearance of their host Runa and Kisu's clothing, but also because they seem to have mellowed out in the years since the war. We don't know what caused the change, but in the past we saw Chocobo attack a train station, killing several humans as well as taking a sword to his own foot soldiers. And now in the current time, the fusion makes decisions after both Yakeikokab and Chocobo have decided on what to do, and they always repay their debts. When saved by Blue Battalion members in their human forms, they decide not to harm them and are even willing to let Azome go without harm. Earlier, before the war arc, Hibiki saves them from a monster, and they later return the favor, saving him from a very bad situation and offering to team up with him. The two will kill if they need to, and were able to fight with Hisui for an unknown amount of time, as well as surviving being completely frozen by Soma's ice attack. The fusion uses abilities from both executives, with Chocobo having the ability to command domination over someone's body, functions, and senses. In the fight with Hisui, they spoke the words "see not," and Hisui became unable to see. In Yakushi's flashback, Chocobo told the humans to breathe not, and everyone started choking and gasping for air. This would mean Yakeikokab would be the one with the warp gate ability, and that they're able to summon a circular portal anywhere and have full control over its movement and use it to teleport themselves as well as others to different locations. These executives currently still live and have joined hands with Hibiki and other humans to form the Neo Rangers. It would seem that they have come to not hate humans at least as much as the other executives, and they truly wish for peace, so they are willing to work with humans and they always make sure to pay back someone. Uli Merida is an executive outside of the other 12. The animal it represents is not confirmed, but people who spotted it have called her a bear multiple times, and she appears to wear a helmet, which I initially thought was her face, but you can see teeth in the shadows from behind when she eats. She has very large wings and two little tentacle-like legs that can grab things. When using those wings to fly, she sort of looks like an owl, and her abilities aren't very clear. Seems like she might be able to summon star showers or something, because when she grabbed Yakushi and took flight, they were surrounded by stars, and also when she fought with Red Red Keeper, you could see beams falling diagonally, similar to how shooting stars would fall. Uli Merida is an interesting one because she was not hell-bent on world domination or hurting anyone, but was an outsider among her own kind and hunted by humans. It wasn't until she met Yakushi that things turned around for her, luckily because he was also an outsider. He somewhat understood what she went through and took her in. Uli Merida would laugh and eat and spend much time with Yakushi until the people in his village burned down his home, leading to Yakushi to move to the city, and he asked Uli Merida to join him. Before joining him though, she gets revenge for Yakushi. Before, when his home was burned down, she didn't retaliate so that she wouldn't cause trouble for him, but now that they're leaving, she kills the villagers and takes on the body of a woman that lived there and moves to the city with Yakushi. They continue living together peacefully until an unlucky meeting with Chocobo occurs, and she's forced to defend Yakushi, and the Dragon Keepers show up and kill her, but she manages to suppress herself inside of a little girl hurt in the battle and use her as a vessel. This girl is Angel Usakubo, who gets adopted by Yakushi, and Uli Merida at one point manages to gain control over Angel's body, but is quickly taken back when she jams a Dragon Tool replica into the eye that Uli Merida lived. We don't know if she's gone for good at this point, but her ability to heal and fire off beams was pretty potent. There are a couple other executives we have yet to see in the story, such as Rat, Dog, Ox, and Dragon, although I think Dai took the serum to become the Ox, growing 4 more arms and horns on his head before being beaten by Red Keeper pretty easily, and I'm just waiting on it to be revealed that Ryu, the Dragon Keeper mascot, is the Dragon executive in a little chibi form. The last of the known executives, like Yakeiko, I am certainly gonna butcher the name, is Imai the Ram. There isn't much known about Imai currently, since the arc with focus on them is currently ongoing, but they're the only executive that D referred to as being nice in the past. Imai, at the very least, considered all of the invaders family and fought against the Dragon Keepers at some point, and like most others, was believed to be dead. Imai is tall, and from their silhouette, I always thought they sort of look like a dust mop. In the anime, they have a spear, and D says their abilities consist of regeneration and amplification. When D discovers a drug being distributed to civilians is actually flesh from Imai's body, being called Chop, and changing people into their form, he tries to find out more. We don't know what Imai's angle is and what they're trying to do, or if they're the ones distributing the meat, but many people have eaten it and are starting to attack people in their image. One common theory that I think I'm on board with is that Wendy, the new recruit in Yellow Battalion, is actually Imai, since they wear a head decoration that sort of looks like horns from a ram, and they really wanted to meet D. It's hard to make heads or tails of things since the arc is still ongoing, but someone in the Ranger Discord pointed out something I missed, and it's Hisui's reaction to hearing the name Imai. When D asks the old man where Imai is, Hisui lights up for a moment before bringing her head back down, along with her eyes looking like she's deep in thought, and asks how the Ram executive is involved. The theory was that Imai was the one who killed Hisui's family and destroyed her home, so this executive could cause a rift between D and Hisui, even if destroying her home and family ends up being something that was an accident. Of course, keep reading the manga and you'll find out more when I find out more. That brings this video to an end. I won't be going over the Death Messiah in this video. I think I'll save that for a later Invader Rights Association video or an individual video, but only time will tell. This video was only meant for the 12 executives, so if you want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching for so long. Hit that like and leave a comment and let me know what other videos you'd like to see on the channel. More Dragon Keeper videos are coming soon too, but that's it for now, guys. See you next time.